What is the one thing that all successful men and women have in common? They set goals. Goal setting is the master skill for success. With it, everything is possible. Without it, nothing is possible. Luckily, goal setting is a learned skill, so everyone has the ability to learn and even master the skill, if they are willing to put in the effort. In today's session, we are going to learn the importance of goal setting, how to achieve our goals, how to slice them down in smaller portions, and everything will be related to life and business. Welcome back to this session. This is going to be really a very important one because it is one of the pillars that you need to learn when you are structuring your business, whether it's a new business or whether you're scaling your business. Goal setting is crucial for the progression of our business and having a business that will continue to flourish. It is part of the very important structure that we are setting up for your new business. And I'm so happy that you've made it all the way here. It means that you are committed to make this business work and that by now your mindset is on the right track and that we can really start structuring your business properly. I'm going to be explaining the principles and the fundamentals of goals and goal settings and how we need to approach our goals. And in the session after this, I will give you exactly the tools you are going to need to use in order to implement goals for your business. So stay with us because we are ready to go on fire. What is it that most successful people have in common? And basically that is setting goals. But a lot of people also end up not getting anything in their life. And they never get it because of one reason. They really have no clue what it is that they actually want. And then other people also don't get their goals in order and never do anything very vital with their life, for the very simple reason is that although they may have a clue, they may have an idea of what it is that their goals are, which goals they want to reach, they will never achieve them because they never get engaged enough in taking the first step that will take them towards achieving their goals. So why is goal setting so important both to yourself and to your business? Well, let me put this in some perspective. How often do you get into your car, you put the ignition on, you head out of your parking lot or out of your garage, and you just start driving aimlessly with no idea where you're going to go? How often do you do that? Unless it's, a casual Sunday drive or you really enjoy driving for the heck of it, it's very unlikely that you will set out and you will have no destination in mind. And this is exactly the same way we need to treat our life and exactly the same way we need to treat our business. Let's also make another supposition this time. You're also in the car. This time you know where you want to go, but your GPS isn't working. And worse, you don't even have a roadmap. So you are going to be relying entirely on road signs in the hope that you arrive at your destination and you have no clue how to get there. Both instances are actually very identical to moments in our life where we don't set goals or we set goals but we have no idea how to arrive to execute on our goals. So how are we going to go setting about goals in our life and business? As a kid, I really had wonderful dreams. I used to dream that I would get myself a boyfriend at the age of 20. I'd get married at 25 and then I'd have 2 kids. I wanted a boy first and then I wanted a girl later so that the boy would take care of the girl. And simultaneously, I would become a lawyer and I'd have a multitude of very grateful clients who would send me thank thank you cards, and I'd make a ton of money. And, I would live in this amazing house with an outdoor pool and with gardens. It was the perfect dream for a child. And I'm the eldest of 3 children, all very precocious, but I can assure you I was always the most precocious. And my father was a cash van delivery guy driving at the local bank. And my mother was a seamstress, and she worked from home, and she did pretty dresses for her neighbors and her friends and charged some little money for them. And as you can imagine, I really lived in a very, very humble family. However, to my parents' credit, they really put the 3 of us in the best education that is available in Malta, which is where I come from. Fast forward 40 years. Did any of these dreams come to life? The house, yes, I have to tell you. The house was actually ended up being much bigger than my expectations as a child for other reasons. But I never became a lawyer, I never got married, and I never had the children. At the age of 18, I joined the local bank where my father worked and started living his dream instead of my dream. I graduated in finance, and then I climbed the corporate ladder, until one day, 8 years down the line, I woke up and I realized that my personal why was not in the equation. I was not living my dream. I was living my father's dream. So life was not on my terms. Life would never give me the full satisfaction, and I would never be fulfilled. So to everyone's surprise and consternation and severe judgment, I left my corporate job, not even for a better job. I left it for no job to start my own business and become an entrepreneur. The point of this story is that as kids, we have no filters. We have no inhibitions. We dare to dream and we dare to set goals. But as we grow older, we start putting in the filters. We start hearing what other people are saying, what other people's rules are for our life. We start living other people's lives, the direction they want us to go in, what the expectations of the family is of you, what the expectations of your friends, what your friends are doing. And then, if you end up having a partner, what your partner is expecting from you. If you're female, this is going to feel even more difficult, even more onerous, because you don't want to go into the conflict of male-female equation, and you want to keep, a good relationship. So all these things start coming into play, which all eat away at our passion, our imagination, our soul, our reality, our vivid dreams. And we start conforming. And this is when our goals start crumbling. And we might make fake substitutes for our goals because we will not be really into the passion of what we want. And we start actually convincing ourselves that our new goals are our goals. So when we set goals of whatever it is that we want to do with our life. We want to set goals that impact our family. We hope that we set goals that our career will be able to shape up concurrently with our personal life, the direction we will want to give our business, how much we would like to grow it. When we dream of our finances, we dream of being able to reach, the maximum possibilities of our abilities so that we can have an improved lifestyle. But in order to do this, we have to do this with one very important thing. We have to be living our dream. We cannot be living any fake dreams. And to live our dream, we have to be sure, we have to have absolute certainty and absolute clarity that we are going to be setting these goals because they resonate well with us. If we don't, they will just be, very flimsy goals. But if we do, something happens in the universe that not even we understand, and the universe will contrive seriously to get our goals, our dreams to come to life. Even when we have no clear clue of how we're going to achieve those dreams, as I said, the universe really contrives, and it makes us more aware on how we're going to achieve those dreams and how we're going to make them happen. This is called reticular activating system, or RAS, and it plays a real fundamental role in the arousal of our sleep-wake transmissions. Let me give you an example to make this very vivid. For example, you're looking at buying a new car, and after a lot of procrastination and many visits to different car dealers, you decide on one specific model that you want to buy. The minute that you make up your mind, that you make this decision, you will actually start seeing a lot of this car. You go out on the road and you see this car. You open up your social media and you see it advertised. You hear people talking about it. It's uncanny, but it's as if our brain suddenly wakes up to confirm that we have made the right decision. And we start literally waking up on this decision. I'm going to do an exercise with you now, and I want you to please be sitting down, because this doesn't work if you're driving. You have to be focused. So I want you to have a look at the room you are in and count how many red items you're seeing. This is going to be for just 5 seconds, and we go now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. How many red things did you manage to see? Now I want you to do something else. I want you to close your eyes, and without looking again at the room, I want you to count in your head how many items you saw in this room which were blue. Boom. You probably can't remember anything, right? Now open your eyes and focus again, and have a look and see how many blue items you can see now. Most likely there are going to be a lot more blue items in the room, but you just literally failed to observe them because your acute awareness was focused on the red items. Therefore, literally, you failed to notice the red items. In the first reality, the blue probably didn't exist at all. And this happens exactly in the same way when we're setting goals. And this is why we've done this exercise. When you give your mind a set of instructions to look for and get a pair of new eyes to help you achieve your goals, your brain will start looking for conversations, creativity, resources, opportunities, ideas, mentors, which are all going to help you find the solutions. This is how the universe contrives. Our brain will start matching what it sees on the outside with what you are seeing in the inside, which is your goal. Are you understanding me? The way our brain is wired is that we are always looking at goals and at focus. Once a goal is set, our brain will automatically send impulses to start looking for information that can help you achieve these goals. And the same happens in life when we set goals and we start to focus on our goals. And the same thing will happen in business. I will break this down further in the next session. But there is one other thing we have to make sure when we are setting goals, and that is that when we have the absolute clarity of our goals, we also need to have the absolute clarity of why we want these goals. The purpose is always stronger than the outcome. I will repeat this. The purpose of our goals is always stronger than the outcome of what we will actually achieve. What will your goals make of you as a person? that is definitely a lot more fundamental than the goals, than what the goals will actually get to achieve. Let's face it, at the end of our life, when we look back at things and all the stuff we've accumulated, what do you think is going to be that what makes us happy? If you look back at the person you've become in the process, how people speak of you, how you're respected, how many lives you've impacted. If you are an entrepreneur, how many people you've employed, how many people you've given dignity of being able to provide for them and for their families, that is what will matter. At the end of your life, it is how much integrity, love, impact, and wealth of soul that you have given that you will receive. And that is what will really matter. The rest will really come automatically. I can really assure you of that. There's nothing wrong in attaining wealth, but wealth alone will not give you the wealth of life. If you get specific goals in life so that you acquire things, so that you manifest them in your life, you can rest assured that that is the only thing you will get. Be careful what you wish for, because it may just happen. Do you know that? If acquiring things is going to be the only purpose and the only outcome, you may very well end up compromising your integrity in the process. So many times we fail to observe that our life goals and our career goals and our business goals all have a direct impact on each other. How we live our career, how we live our corporate life, how we live our life at work has a direct impact on how we react at home, and vice versa. If we are happy at home, we're probably happier on the job. And if we're stressed at work, we're probably going to bring it home with us as well. So setting goals at a pace that we can tweak them with our physiology is really important, so that we pace them according to how we can progress them. Remember, there is no such thing as an unreachable goal. There is only such thing as an unreachable timeline, okay? Goals will work when you have absolute clarity of where you are and where you want to go, but also why you want to go there. Setting goals can actually really be a lot of fun, as long as we have the clarity when we set them out. But when you set out flimsy goals or generic goals, they will never come to fruition. For example, if you said, I want to become a multimillionaire, and again, I reiterate, there's nothing wrong with wanting to become a multimillionaire, but you need to attach a why to it. If instead of saying, I want to become a multimillionaire, which is really a very flimsy goal, you say, I want to hit my first million in the next 5 years, because I want to make sure that I am going to be financially equipped to take care of my kids, to give them a better education, to have a better possibility in life than I had, and so that I can improve on my quality of life. Now that is with a why attached to it, and it becomes a lot more concrete and a far more attainable goal. The reason it becomes more attainable is that you have attached your why to your goal and to your dream. You've attached an emotion to it, and suddenly you have set a vision for your future, and you have started converting your dream into a goal and into a real vision, with a timeline, with a reason why, and with where it is exactly that you want to arrive. So I get a lot of questions from my students and who say, why is it that setting goals and attaining them is so difficult to most people? And I'll tell you from my observations is that the problem with setting goals is that most people don't do it seriously, and they don't do it consistently. Let's say, for the sake of an argument, someone, a slightly overweight woman will say on New Year's Eve, I am going to lose weight. the chances are that on New Year's Day, this is totally forgotten, especially with the banquet that, at least where I come from, we usually make on New Year's Day. So that is a flimsy goal. It is a goal which is not really attaching an emotion of why this woman needs to lose weight. But if the same woman decides that she wants to lose weight on New Year's Eve because she's getting married in June, and she's eyeing this perfect wedding dress, and she wants to fit into it, and she wants to have the most fabulous photos, now she has attached a real why, which is really a core need to lose weight because she wants to look good for her wedding photos and she wants to look good for her husband. Now that becomes a much more valuable goal to make. Therefore, in order to not fail when you're setting goals, you need to do one of two things. First of all, you need to have the motivators of your goals firmly fixed in place. Like we said, this girl is getting married, so that is her prime motivator of why she wants to lose weight, right? It's very important that you keep this and you make it as your daily affirmation. So you have to keep your goal in sight, in total sight. Otherwise, the goals won't work. And it's also important to keep our goals in sight because you will definitely come across stumbling blocks. And when you come across stumbling blocks, you will invariably lose sight of your goals and you may very well feel defeated. So unless you keep your goals shining like that beacon on a light tower, you are going to have days when you don't see your path anymore, where you're going to feel lost. But if that shining light, that beacon is going to keep in front of your vision, it's going to be your primary vision, then you will always find your way back. The second very important thing, if you want to not fail in your goals, is that you need to find someone you trust, someone who shares an understanding of your dreams and your goals and to hold you accountable. This is really important. So if this girl is planning to lose weight, it's best that she joins a group of similar-minded people with someone who is coaching them and someone who is giving them direction, so that when she falls a little bit back, she will find someone to push her forward without being aggressive, still being understanding, but reminding her that she has a goal to achieve. Okay? What happens when our goals feel that they are too huge? We're all allowed to dream big, and the bigger and the more vivid, the better. But we've touched on some very important points when we're executing our dreams. You can have the best of intentions. You can have your goals really firmly set with clarity. You can have your why in order. But if you're executing in the wrong direction and with no plan, nothing is going to work. If you're chasing a sunset but running towards the east, you might as well catch a sunrise, but there's no way you're going to catch a sunset, even with your best intentions. So you can't have a GPS that's going to tell you all the wrong roads and all the stumbling blocks, and it won't guide you to the right direction, because that would be a GPS that is going to keep coming up with all the wrong roads without a solution. So how do we find the right roadmap to help us realize our goals? This is true for both life and business. We need to do two very important things. One, we're going to need to chunk down or slice down our big goals, and we are going to layer them into smaller targets. And the second one is we are going to take advice from the best places going to be coming from. It's from people who have already experienced and have already achieved the targets and the goals that we are trying to achieve, but have lived them literally, not textbook living, lived them literally, and who can then compress their decades into days. And this is usually our mentors and our coaches. How do we chunk down a big goal, which is goal number one? If you're going to eat an elephant, you're going to eat it a bite at a time. And if you're going to climb the staircase to heaven, you're going to have to take it literally one step at a time. What you have to remember that the minute you have the courage to take the first step or to eat the first bite, you are one step closer to arriving at your goal. And you have left the place that you have started from. So when you have a big goal or an ultimate task, you're going to need to map out the roadmap that will get you from where you are to where you want to go. In this map, you're going to have your starting point, which is where you are, and your ultimate destination. But on the way, we're going to set milestones, and in between each milestone, we're going to break that down even further and set targets. Targets and milestones with timeframes. One step at a time, reaching small goals, executing small tasks which will eventually add up to the bigger goals. But we need to take action. Things just won't come flying from the sky, and opportunity isn't just going to land on our lap. Each target and each milestone, I will say again, must be attached with a realistic time frame. Our goals are supposed to stretch us, but they're not supposed to ultimately stress us or break us. Therefore, when a goal feels like it's too huge to achieve, we chunk it down so that we can digest it, and if we have to, we readjust the timelines. When each task becomes visible and we know that we have the strength to do it, so it becomes bite-sized, you will arrive at your first task and then you are ready to go on to the next one. And this is going to give you a very good reason to celebrate, but also to hold yourself accountable and to also be able to measure your progress. If you get people who have already been there, done that, they are going to monitor your progress and your accountability and your time frames and guide you to keep going into the direction that you want to arrive. So here is my advice. I would put my hands on every book that I can find written by people who have experienced whatever it is that you want to achieve. Other than that, I would get advice, I would get coaches, I would get mentors. Then after that, if we need to adapt whatever it is that other people are giving us by sharing their experience, but we need to change it a little bit and change direction and tweak it to suit us, then that's fine. I would just like to put something a little bit in perspective where it comes to getting a proper education. When we have kids, we try to give them the best mentoring and best direction possible. We don't do a Tarzan on them, and we don't just throw them in the jungle to see whether they will be able to survive. We actually nurture them, and we teach them, and we guide them, and we prepare them on the roadmap for their adulthood. But when we become adults, we actually throw ourselves into jungles. We fail to get proper direction from others who are much older than us and who have experience and who can guide us and help us plan our roadmap. So this is very important. Get advice where it is advice that you know will be valuable. Don't try to keep doing it completely on your own. This is really, really a very difficult way. You will arrive, but your timeline, your time frame will have to be really super stretched. So as adults, we need to treat ourselves with a little bit more care, as the same care as we would give our children. Let us find the movers, let us find the shakers, let us find people who will help us exceed our expectations, and we need to give time its real value and use whatever shortcuts we can find so that we can find the proper roadmap and the proper guidelines to our goals. And that becomes a very good GPS. In the session to come, we are going to use all we've learned about having goals, having clarity, having the why, chunking it down, and we are going to see how we are going to actually implement them in our business. Have a break and see you soon.